What's up, all of you awesome people? It's TheMunchBowl here, and today, how are y'all doing? How's your day? I feel like I don't ask that enough. Let me take this off first because my hair always ends up looking weird when I have this on. I remember on my videos, sometimes I'll just, I don't know, talk. And it'll almost be kind of like vlog style, but then I slowly transitioned out of that, without even knowing. Just because I guess I've been not really that busy, but school has been happening. I've been working on other stuff that I'm not really going to tell y'all yet. This video is about when do dreads lock up. So, how's this look? I really hope this looks good. But when do dreads lock up? I've kind of beat around the bush on this in other videos. I made videos on how to instantly lock your hair, how to know when your dreads are locking up, and all types of other stuff. But I don't think I've ever made a video on specifically when your dreads lock up. Like the simple question that I get asked a lot. So, first things first, let's keep it simple. When do dreads lock up? Honestly, it depends on what method you're doing. If you have an instant dreadlock method, obviously your dreads are already locked up, so you're probably not even watching this video if you have an instant dreadlock. So, we're twisting with gel. I think that tends to lock up a little slower, but still at the same time, it locks up pretty much at the same rate, I think. So, universally for all methods, if you have coarse hair, I consider coarse hair from 4A to 4C. For that, it takes about 3 months to start initially locking up, or at least where you begin to see that your hair is accelerating in the locking up process. Because your hair automatically tangles up. It tangles up within 1 day, but it's not locked. You know, just because your hair is tangled up doesn't mean it's locked. So it starts tangling up. But once that tangling up starts getting really out of hand is at the 3-month mark, which is what you want. I know out of hand sounds like it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing if you want dreadlocks. And that's when you actually start to see that your hair is actually starting to lock up and it becomes quicker and quicker. But if you have a little bit of looser curl pattern like 3C or even 3B, and 3B is pretty much where it stops. It doesn't go any lower than that, because I would consider anything under 3B, even though it looks curly, it's really considered straight hair in terms of dreadlocks, because you have to use a straight hair method. With straight hair methods, they instantly lock your hair, so straight hair kind of doesn't even apply to this video. But if you have a 3B or a 3C hair type, then your hair will take a little longer to start locking up, just because it's a looser curl pattern. And if you don't know how dreads lock, they lock within the curls, so they latch onto each other. So the curls, imagine the curls as hooks, they hook onto each other. That's how hair tangles up. It has to have some type of hook. But with looser hair, it's not as many hooks as you would call them, so it would take longer for it to lock up. But it wouldn't take that much longer. It would take about 4 to 5 months for looser curl patterns. So basically roughly around the same area. It's not that big of a difference. But don't misunderstand me, your hair will not be as locked up as my hair is right here at 3 months or 3 to 5 months. 3 to 5 months is when the locking process begins. That's how I think about it in my mind. That's when it begins. Because in the first few months, they're considered just, like twists. But then kind of, if you could visualize it this way, at the 3rd month, it's your hair is oh, this person actually really wants me to get dreadlocks. Okay, I'm going to start dreading up now. By the 3rd month, it's actually going to start activating into dreadlocks. I don't know, I'm trying to explain it good. And beforehand, make sure that your hair is completely dry. That's the best way for your hair to start locking up, is if it's completely dry. And if you wash your hair, but I really recommend, I don't want to go into it in this video just because it's a whole topic in of itself. I have a how to wash your hair video, when to wash your hair video on my channel, so y'all can check that out, or check out any other YouTuber who talks about washing their dreadlocks. But washing your hair plays a huge part in locking up your hair, but you don't want to wash your hair too much, which it can still lock up if it has some oil in it, but it just works better if it's dry. But honestly, from that first initial locking up month all the way on, it just keeps on getting tighter and tighter and tighter, because you will know that once you start your dread set, and this is really evident with twisting with gel. If you twist your hair with gel, you'll notice they'll be really skinny, but once they actually start locking up, you will see that they will thicken up and puff up. And you notice you will feel them, and it's kind of hollow. It feels hollow and squishy in the middle. That's how you know your dreads are not locked up yet, or at least how you know they're not tight yet. So basically, it goes through a thickening up process, but then it will condense back to each other, and that's when it actually starts tightening up. And that tightening up process basically lasts forever. Still to this day, my hair is still tightening up, but not as fast, because it doesn't have that much room to tighten up since it's already pretty tight. But technically, your dreads never stop locking. So just on through that process, your hair will get harder and harder, and once your hair is hard, that's how you know that it's tightening up. Because think about it, when something is hollow inside, it has space inside obviously, but when it's condensed, it's hard. You know, there isn't any space inside. It's just all tightened up. That's how it is with your hair locking. But what will your hair be kind of fully locked up, or where most people, you know, would consider it actual dreadlocks, like mature dreadlocks. I mean, for me, my hair is about like a 4A or 4B, and my hair was pretty much locked up around the 10th month. But obviously by then it still had a little bit of work to do, but by a year it was definitely, you know, good and ready to go. And for looser curl patterns, it may take all the way up to a year, just because it does lag behind just a tiny bit, but still roughly the same amount of time. But once your hair starts initially locking, then I'll say that's when you could go ahead and, you know, wash your hair, you know, comfortably and stuff, to where you're not worried about it unraveling or anything, because it already has like a good foundation. Because like I'll show you a dreadlock on the side. I use this dreadlock as an example a lot, but I've had this dreadlock for about 5 to 6, maybe even 7 months already, because I combed it out and redid it, and it started locking up around, you know, the 3rd month. And this is without me doing anything to it. I didn't twist it. Well, at the beginning I twisted it, but then I just stopped because, you know, I went, you know, semi freeform, and it's still kind of fuzzy and frizzy, and that's simply because I wasn't twisting it. That's just how it's going to turn out. But it's pretty much already all the way locked up. It's only been like 7 months, so it does vary, but still it does have some, you know, progress to be done since it's all frizzy and stuff, because the frizz will come in over time as well. But I would say once that initial locking up process started happening for this dreadlock, which happened around, you know, 3 to 4 months, or 3 to 5 months rather, I basically didn't have to worry about it anymore. I didn't have to like be careful with washing it, because once it already has kind of that foundation to where it's just like it's one twist as a whole, it has that, you know, foundation to where now it can actually, you know, lock up as a dreadlock. And really now at this point I feel like I'm really overcomplicating it, because honestly it's not that difficult. I know it kind of got all complicated and stuff, but here's just what you should know. Universally, it takes about 3 to 5 months for your hair to initially start locking up. Once it starts locking up, it gains that foundation to where it's all tangled up and it's in its individual section now. Then from there, it's going to continue locking up and tightening up throughout the process, and around 8 months to a year, that's where your hair would be pretty much all the way locked up, even though your hair never stops locking up, but where you would consider your hair to be locked up. And that's the whole time frame. That's really how easy it is. All it takes is time, and you just gotta be patient with it. But I'm telling you, getting dreadlocks is so easy. And by the way, the times that I set aren't like set in stone. It can really vary just depending on what you do to your hair, what method you're doing, and all that type of stuff. But don't focus on trying to get your hair to lock up the fastest it possibly can. Just let the process happen. But yeah, anyways, that's the video. If you like this video or if it helped you out, please make sure I like it. If you want to see more videos from me in the future, please make sure I subscribe and turn on post notifications so y'all never miss out on another video from me in the future. And with that being said, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-dee-bee-dee-bee-dee-bee-dee.